Good afternoon and welcome to this short video about some of the changes that we were hoping to discuss in our parent forum about disruption-free learning and changes to our behaviour policy. We were very disappointed to have to postpone the parent forum and wanted to make sure this message can go out quickly. We are obviously in the process of candidate for that forum to allow you to come in and speak to us about changes that we will be making. However, an outline here of the changes that we will see in January should prove helpful. So you will already be aware of changes that we made in September with the introduction of our Camelot room, which has been highly successful in ensuring that students' learning in lessons is not disrupted. Our feedback from parents, students and staff has been overwhelmingly positive about the impact of this room when students are dysregulated and need a different space to work in and need to allow other students to continue their learning in the lesson. So we're, based on that feedback, we are making a few tweaks and changes to the behaviour policy to support this further. So as you will be aware, we often take stakeholder voice from our students, from yourselves as parents and from our staff. And certainly, our Camelot room and our slightly stricter measures, parents and students are reporting that behaviour in lessons has improved, which is fantastic. Parents and students are overwhelmingly in favour of the idea of disruption-free classrooms and the idea that students are able to learn distracted by others. One of the other pieces of feedback we've recently had from students is that the R1 sanction, which serves as a reminder to students that they are not quite getting their behaviour correct, isn't having much of an impact, with several students reporting that some students kind of ignore this sanction. So we have reflected on all of that feedback, and from January we are making sure that our behaviour policy fully supports that disruption-free learning to allow others to continue to learn. We are also very aware that students are students and they won't always be absolutely perfect, so we of course are not going to remove that opportunity for them to have their behaviour corrected and just reminder of expectations. So we will be making sure that before any sanction at all is given to students, that they are reminded of what it is that we'd like them to be doing, what they should be doing, the behaviours we should be seeing from them, in order for them to have that opportunity to correct it before being placed any kind of sanction. What we are moving to then is a system called Remind Remove. So the teacher will remind students, for example, a student who is perhaps talking out of turn or slightly off task, the teacher will remind that student, actually we should be doing this right now, can I ask you to stop talking out of turn, or I'm waiting for silence, and give that student the opportunity to make sure that they correct that behaviour. And for most students this is absolutely enough for that to work. There will be no sanction for this, it is just a reminder of expectations. Staff will log it, and so it will therefore appear on your weekly email as a parent, so that you are aware that the student might have to be reminded. We think that's important, that parents are aware of the sort of behaviours that students are exhibiting in class. You might want to be able to talk to them about, oh, it looks like perhaps you had to have a reminder or two this week, what's going on. So it just helps you to have those conversations at home. Obviously, once students have been reminded, we expect them to correct that behaviour, and as I said, a lot of students do, most students do. However, if the student does continue to disrupt the learning, then at this stage they will be asked to go to the Camelot room and supplied with suitable work so that they continue their learning in a different environment. This is purely to enable the rest of the class to continue their learning uninterrupted. We believe that students deserve that they should have the right climate to be able to concentrate fully without distractions and disruptions from others. So what happens about lunchtime detentions then? One of the things that students have said and parents have said about lunchtime detentions is that if students have a lunchtime detention for not completing their home learning, it would be useful if they could use the time in detention to be able to complete it. So we will be changing our detentions at lunchtime to open up an IT suite, and that will allow students who have been placed in detention for that reason to get themselves caught up and get themselves ready for the next day. We're hoping that this opportunity is going to mean that less students will need that lunchtime detention, because they should be able to complete the work in the previous day's detention and get themselves fully caught up. We will have a lunchtime detention system. Will continue for students who don't quite manage to meet our expectations at roll call, but other lunchtime detention sanctions will be removed. So one of the other things that we are really keen to do is to make sure that communication home about all of these things is really efficient. So from January, in order to improve that efficiency, we will be informing parents about an after-school detention via text message. Parents will receive this by 1 p.m. on the day of the detention. And we know that this is the most reliable, accessible form of communication for parents to ensure that they do actually receive that message. We know that some parents don't pick up emails all day, every day. We know that some parents are not able to answer the phone necessarily all day, every day. And feedback has been that the text messages are the most reliable form of communication home. This will obviously ensure it's there by 1 p.m. in order to make sure that you are able to arrange collection of your child if that's needed. So to make sure that this process is smoothly done, we will be running a test text message to all parents on Tuesday the 12th of December. We will send a text message to all parents as a dummy example to make sure that we have the correct priority contact one, so it's the right person that is being contacted and that the number is correct. Therefore, on Tuesday the 12th of December, if you have not received a text message from the school saying this is a test to check the details, please could you contact our office to make sure that we do have the correct details and that we can rectify that before January. Now, obviously, for most parents, most of this doesn't really affect you. The vast majority of our students are never given sanctions such as detentions, are never asked to be removed to the Camelot room. This does only affect a small number of students, but it's really important that all parents are aware of the changes and that we do have those contact details correct for all parents, just in case. Thank you very much. I hope this has been useful and informative. We will, of course, reschedule that parent forum and look forward to seeing you with your thoughts and ideas around this, as well as the other topics that were due to be covered in the parental forum. That was around assessment and reporting and some information about options. Have a very lovely Christmas break, and we hope to see you